What is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. The debut edition of Friday Night SmackDown hit the airwaves, coming to us live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And man, it didn't take the WWE long to give me a reason to tell you guys that we should call this show Friday Night Suckdown. And we are here to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you guys are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Friday Night SmackDown review right here on Sledgehammer TV. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Oh, what are you talking about? SmackDown was so great. SmackDown was awesome. It ended with such a great segment, man.
When you want to debut your professional wrestling show on network television, live for the world to see, and the two biggest things that you gave us to talk about are focused on two gentlemen that have absolutely nothing to do with professional wrestling, you have failed the entire wrestling community. You have failed your entire roster of superstars, and you have failed on a level that I can't even find the proper words to describe. I am so sick and tired of these UFC guys showing up in the WWE like they're supposed to mean something to me. The UFC hasn't been relevant in over 10 years. UFC is just as much of a garbage product as Monday Night Raw. Their superstars don't mean anything. They don't feel big. I haven't paid attention to the UFC, so unless you're a big guy into the UFC right now, you don't give a shit about Cain Velasquez. I certainly do not. You don't give a shit about a Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury? Who the fuck is Tyson Fury? I don't know who he is. I had to go look him up before I started this show. Tyson Fury, if you guys are confused like I was, is a British professional boxer. He's a British professional boxer. He's sitting ringside at SmackDown Live in Los Angeles, California, so that they could continue to turn Braun Strowman into the fucking Big Show. Remember the Big Show? Remember the big scary show? And how he had to fight guys like Floyd Mayweather? And he had to wrestle Akebono, big sumo jerk guy. For what? For what? Braun Strowman is now the special attraction gigantic clown. Why do I give a shit? Do you care about this? Did it make it so cool? Oh, so cool, SmackDown Live, man, so cool. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. You have a roster full of superstars that you did nothing with. Nothing. Except hit the repeat button. And then the one thing you came up with that was slightly original, all you did was waste Randy Orton. You wasted AJ Styles. You wasted the Zglorious Rudolphs. Not that they're worth time, but they are the champions of the tag team division. You wasted Heavy Machinery. You wasted The Miz. All to focus everybody's attention on some British boxing guy that I can guarantee you most of the people watching have no idea who he was. And Braun Strowman squaring up with a really long and awkward square-up. Like, Braun Strowman's just standing there like, oh, I'm big and scary, and I don't want to be the Big Show, but I'm going to stand here until Dolph Ziggler gets off his ass and finally does the spot so I can stop standing here going like this and not throwing a punch at you, you big giant goofball. I'm not supposed to notice that, right? I'm not supposed to tell you guys that.
Oh, you're a complainer, man.
No, I'm not. I'm calling it out. I'm telling you guys how it is. Why do you care? Do you care? Explain it to me. There's a comment section which is free for you guys to use. Explain to me why I should care about Cain Velasquez. Oh, he's going to bring viewers to SmackDown Live. SmackDown Live is supposed to be about the wrestlers, not about bringing in people that are doing other things. It's bad enough that they made Kofi Kingston look like a chump and lose in record fashion to Brock Lesnar, only for Brock Lesnar to be moved onto a program with Cain Velasquez, who has zero WWE credibility. Oh, well, we'll put Tiny Dad next to him. Tiny Dad Mysterio, you're going to be Cain Velasquez's representation for the WWE. And now everything that happened last week makes sense. So Brock Lesnar has nobody else to blame because he's the one that beat up Rey Mysterio. Now Rey's bringing big old Cain. Another Cain I don't want to friggin' see on my TV. And I'm supposed to be interested? Kofi Kingston deserved better than that, man. I don't care what side of the debate you come down on Kofi Kingston, whether you love him or whether you hate him. The guy had a very respectable championship reign, 180 days. Some really, really impressive championship defenses over some really top-notch talent. And if Brock Lesnar can have matches with guys like Finn Balor and Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles that are not squash matches, that are not embarrassing matches, why couldn't Kofi Kingston go out like a champion on his Shield? He went out like a chump. Why? Because he's Brock Lesnar? That pisses me off. There was no reason for that. Kofi Kingston had to lose in like 6 seconds so that we can watch Brock and Cain Velasquez stare at each other like two monkeys looking at a banana. Awful. Oh, it's great. It's going to bring people to the show. The wrong people. This isn't going to bring the right type of fans back to the show. This is going to bring in all the type of people that used to show up when Mike Tyson used to come around. Or when Dennis Rodman used to show up in the NWO. Those are the people, you don't want them around because they don't care about wrestling. What do you want them watching your show for? Just to get the numbers? Wouldn't you rather create a diehard fan base by giving us some awesome fucking wrestling? And you dare give us a show like this, coming off the heels of NXT and AEW putting forth two very, very good shows? And then this debut of SmackDown Live comes off like a piece of trash. Like Monday Night Raw in blue. You can give it a brand new set. You can put Corey Graves and Michael Cole in the announce booth. You can give it a fancy little kickoff show with Renee Young and Booker T hosting. You can have a really cool Fox Sports kind of delivery and presentation to the whole entire show. But then the show you give us is trash. Oh, The Rock came. Who cares? Once again, let me reiterate to you that The Rock is no longer a wrestler. The Rock's history is rooted in professional wrestling. I get that. He has way more reason to come around than Cain Velasquez or Tyson Fury. And I did enjoy The Rock's opening segment, but the only thing that happens when you bring a guy like The Rock back is he dwarfs the entire roster. And you can literally see with your own two eyes, unless you're just a completely ignorant, stupid idiot, that there are no stars like The Rock anymore. He just brings a certain charisma and a certain level of entertainment that these other superstars and athletes are still aspiring to get to and probably will never reach. Simple and tiny little things like The Rock coming out and messing with the cameraman, throwing his jacket on the camera, pulling it off real quick and giving a wink to the crowd. That's called charisma. He knows his character. You see the old guard doing things like that because they're comfortable in their own skin. They'll do crazy things to make people go, oh, wow, that was cool. Well, you're not supposed to do that kind of shit. Stone Cold Steve Austin is always messing with the cameramen. Things that we used to see that used to set them apart, that used to make them feel bigger. because they know that their job is to entertain the crowd. And he speaks the way The Rock speaks. And nobody speaks like The Rock speaks. And he demands your attention. And then you got Baron Corbin sitting there. He can't handle the mic. He can't hang. Becky Lynch, as over as she was, she looked like she was sticking out like a sore thumb. She didn't even belong out there. This was one of the most mishmashed, mixed together opening segments, forcing everybody to just cheer because The Rock was there. And The Rock throwing some great insults, because that's what The Rock does. But he just makes everybody else look so inferior. And it makes you pine for the days when SmackDown was The Rock's show. When we were seeing The Undertaker do his thing. When stories were awesome. And things happened for a reason. And we weren't focused on outsiders all the time. Let's talk about this show up and down before I just keep going off about that one particular topic. And there's nothing you can tell me that is going to change my mind. You can give me all of the facts, all of his stats. I don't give a shit about anything Cain Velasquez has accomplished, because you know what he's accomplished in the WWE? Nothing! And you know what he's doing now? He's being placed opposite the WWE champion. You tell me how that makes sense. Because he beat Brock Lesnar for the UFC championship, that qualifies him to just come out of nowhere and say, hey, I'm here to fight you? Get the hell out of here. I did enjoy the new opening graphics. I thought that was pretty cool, but it also has something wrong with that, because when you watch all of the superstars featured in the new opening sequence, it's everybody. There is no division. You got Seth Rollins, you see him Bray Wyatt. Is WWE not going to do the brand split? I'm pretty sure we're having the draft, right? Like next week. So it was just weird. Like they had everybody in the company in the SmackDown opening logo. And that's just kind of weird to me. Unless they're going to change it up after the draft to feature only SmackDown superstars, it was very weird to me. Because I'm sitting there getting ready for SmackDown Live and I'm seeing the Universal Champion. I'm like, why is Seth Rollins in the opening signature? Doesn't make sense. We opened up with the man making her way to the ring out of the new set. And the new set is pretty cool. I like those little side entrance things that they have there. Kind of gives it the appearance of a NFL tunnel, like when the guys are coming out to the field. And it has that science fiction graphic feel to it, very similar, like I said, to what you see on a Sunday watching football on Fox Sports. And I appreciate the presentation, but I am going to go and tell you guys the graphics department really needs to up their game. While it was very cool for certain entrances of certain people, those sidebars, as awesome as they are, they need to be utilized better, because it really just kind of made it look a little bit like you're trying to focus in on a puzzle. So maybe they need to do specific graphics, something different from what's going on in the background on those little things. But that's just me nitpicking at this point, and me being a graphic guy. I know that if I were setting it up, it's like this whole entire stage is really cool, man, but we need to make those things stand out. Even if maybe you just left them one solid color and not make them be a digital board, this way they always kind of stood out and popped and don't get lost and maybe almost give you a seizure, because I felt like maybe I was going to start convulsing on a few times. It was like they did some cool stuff for Brock Lesnar, but like when Baron Corbin came out, that's a good example. When I was looking at them, I was like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Is it a broken up crown? Is it just a bunch of jewels? It just is very hard to differentiate what it is exactly I'm looking at. They just, on some of the guys' entrances, it was just an extension of the background, and it looked fractured, as if you were looking at a straw in a glass of water. You understand what I mean when I say that? But other than that, the SmackDown set is probably the best set in all of professional wrestling right now. Very cool looking. We started out with the man coming out, which was immediately broken up by Baron Corbin, the new king of professional wrestling, coming out, which was followed by The Rock. We already ranted on this a little bit. A lot of good stuff talking here. The Burger King on crack comment was very funny. The Rock called Baron Corbin looking like Burger King on crack. Also called him a 35-year-old virgin dressing up for Comic-Con. Becky Lynch got everybody to start chanting STD. She was playing off The Rock a little bit, and it made her seem... It didn't make her seem like she was elevated. Like I said, it just made her look like she was standing in the shadow of greatness. And that's not the way you want to feature your superstars. And that's one of the reasons why I feel like they got to stop bringing back the old guys, because they just come out there and hit it out of the park. And that's the last time you're going to be entertained for the rest of the evening. Becky Lynch and The Rock would beat down Constable new king shithead Baron Corbin, and the show would go on. We would get a rematch for your first match on the new SmackDown Live, or Friday Night SmackDown. We're going to have to get used to saying that. A match that has been recycled every single which possible way that you could give it to us since it started almost 4 weeks ago, which is the Sasha and Becky versus... did I say Sasha? I meant Charlotte and Becky versus Sasha and Bayley. And that's how confusing it is, because it's just a mishmash, and I don't really give a shit. 1 week we're seeing Sasha versus Charlotte, then Sasha versus Becky, then Bayley versus Charlotte, and Bayley versus Becky, and back and forth we go, and then they have the tag match already, and that was just another rematch and another installment in a bunch of matches that we don't need to keep seeing rehashed over and over and over again to try to promote two separate championship matches. Very lazy, very uninspired, very stupid. So Charlotte and Becky get the win on top of it. Typical same old WWE. And this is not me coming down on Charlotte, because obviously the WWE has a hard-on for Ric Flair's little girl, as we always say. And it's not that she doesn't deserve to win in certain situations, so don't get on my balls and say I'm ragging on Charlotte, because it's not an attack on Charlotte, it's an attack on how they book the show, and the fact that once again we have seen Charlotte Flair make the champion of SmackDown Live tap out, and they give the win to Charlotte Flair. They have the champion losing, and Sasha gets away unscathed, and Becky is out there partnering with her bitter rival enemy, former tea time buddy, without any real reconciliation between the two. They're just out there coexisting now, and they're just friends, and it's fine, I guess. Not the best way to kick things off, if you ask me. We get a promo with The New Day and Kofi Kingston talking about being the underdog, saying he's going to overcome the odds, and really hyping it up, saying tonight is a good night to make history, and blah, blah. All of that would be for nothing. Seth Rollins makes his way to the ring, and immediately I was disinterested, because they had to bring out Hulk Hogan, and Hulk Hogan's sitting ringside because his team captain is going to be in action, and they're going to have the Universal Champion versus the Intercontinental Champion again for no reason at all. We're just going to have this champion versus champion match. We're not going to really hype it up. We're not going to talk about it. It's going to be unimportant anyway, because it's really just going to be about the emergence of The Fiend. Seth Rollins would make his way to the ring. We would be interrupted by the Firefly Funhouse, which once again, like I said to you guys on Monday, and they proved it to be the truth again this week. Just because you are not doing your shows back-to-back doesn't mean I'm going to forget. And we have an episode of the Firefly Funhouse where Bray Wyatt says some things, some of the same things he's been saying over and over about Seth Rollins. We had Mercy the Buzzard in a red cage. That, I guess, was kind of cool, right? Mimicking the Hell in a Cell that they're going to be in this Sunday. And Rambling Rabbit was murdered again. All for Bray Wyatt to say, "See you later, Seth, bye," and wave like a psycho. And then for The Fiend to come out and attack Seth Rollins. In the exact same fashion we have seen him be attacked for the consecutive last 4 weeks. And I'm sitting here like, all right, this was cool the first time. I gave you a pass the second time. I was even nice about it the third time. But now it's just an epic example of how fucking lazy this ridiculous company has become. These are repeat matchups over and over again. Repeat segments over and over and over again. You got the Hell in a Cell 2 days away and you couldn't come up with something new, something different, something unique. Maybe something around a cage. Maybe something happens in the funhouse. Maybe Seth Rollins goes hunting for the Fiend. Maybe you do something different. Instead, we get a useless matchup between two champions that has no winner because Bray Wyatt would interfere as the Fiend. Hulk Hogan wasn't getting nowhere near. He didn't come out of the crowd to try to help anything. Everybody assumed he was probably going to attack Shinsuke, who was left on his own because Seth Rollins, when the lights went out, was left running like a little bitch, which I didn't like either. Anyway, the Fiend attacked Seth Rollins from behind, applied the mandible claw, and then threw Seth Rollins off the stage, and we're all supposed to be excited now about the Hell in a Cell. I don't know. It's just almost an inevitable countdown at this point to the WWE putting the Universal Championship around the waist of Bray Wyatt, and I will welcome that, because this whole Seth Rollins run has just become a nauseating babyface debacle, on par with everything that was just as bad with Roman Reigns. And you could take that one to the bank. The best part of the night, Kevin Owens saves us. Kevin Owens, which is why I'm wearing my Kevin Owens hat. It's why we're wearing the Kevin Owens Show t-shirt, because the man deserves our love and respect. Kevin Owens has freed us from the sweat-soaked reign of terror known as Sweat-Stain McStuntman. But don't get your hopes up. The sweat stain was dripping all throughout the opening logo. Shane McMahon's face was included in the Superstars in the promo package. I don't think Shane McMahon is going anywhere. I think this man is going to end up finding a loophole, showing his ass back up on SmackDown next week. Hopefully that is not the case and that they stick to their guns and that Shane's going to take a little vacation, because I'm so sick and tired of needing my towel every single time I watch SmackDown Live. Tired of wiping my screen over and over again, only to be disappointed when the sweat drops on the other side, which are actually on the camera and not my television, don't go away because they consistently keep spraying off of Shane McMahon's disgusting old sweaty head. This might not be the case anymore, as, like I said, Kevin Owens wins this ladder match. And to be fair, even to Shane O'Mac, I'm tired of seeing him, but when he goes in there and he knows he's going to go out, the guy goes out with a bang. And this was a very good ladder match. It was very entertaining, a lot of very serious spots, and Shane, the stuntman, definitely left his sweat mark all over the ring and all over maybe every single ladder that was brought out, only to be powerbombed through one that was set up in the corner to allow Kevin Owens just enough time to climb up to the top of the ladder and retrieve the briefcase, getting that contract, securing his place on SmackDown Live, and freeing us from the clutches of Shane McMahon. After the match, Kevin Owens would pick Shane McMahon up, tell him publicly, "You're fired," and then hit him with a stunner, and that hopefully is the end of Shane McMahon, at least for some time. In the back, we had Kayla Braxton standing around. She's interviewing Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman's talking about the whole thing with Brock Lesnar attacking Rey Mysterio and his son Dominic, and did his whole, "It's not a prediction, it's just a spoiler," that Lesnar's going to win the WWE Championship. I think we all came into tonight knowing that this was a foregone conclusion. If you're a fan of this show and you've been watching me for a length of time, you know I've been saying this was going to be the case since they announced that SmackDown Live was changing to Friday Night SmackDown and going to Fox. And I said, you know what? Kofi Kingston is the champion right now, and he will probably remain the champion until the debut episode of SmackDown Live. And I was proven right 100% as I predicted the exact scenario that went down up until they ruined it with some other UFC guy coming in and taking the thunder and taking all of the gust away from all of the real WWE superstars who should have been the main focus of your debut show. This thing with outside guys is something you do a couple of months in, maybe leading in towards a WrestleMania. WrestleMania is months away. You don't need to be doing this shit now, and especially not on a debut where you should be introducing new audiences that might be showing up for the first time to your superstars. Unforgivable. Just about as unforgivable as this friggin' 8-man tag team matchup. We've already touched upon it, so we'll try to breeze through it as fast as possible. Braun Strowman, The Miz, and Heavy Machinery defeated AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. This was a very short, very uneventful match. Nobody really did much of anything before the whole nonsense with Tyson Fury started. Braun Strowman with his little square-up dance, standing there for a good 3.5 minutes before Dolph Ziggler probably remembered, oh shit, I gotta go attack Braun and push him into Tyson and start this whole ridiculousness. Then Strowman tosses Dolph Ziggler into Fury. Fury wasn't happy about any of this. He started to stand up. Strowman then hit a slam on Dolph Ziggler to get the win for his team. This was maybe about 5 minutes worth of nonsense. And then after the match, there was much more time given as Fury jumped the barricade, which fans aren't supposed to do, but we all know that this is a work and that they're going to go down this road for some reason. And they were keeping Strowman and Fury apart, and everybody's screaming because there's chaos on SmackDown, and you get all hyped up when you're in the live audience. It's almost like you're on drugs and you're just feeding off of everybody else, and everybody's getting all excited for nothing. For a clown show. The new big show. That's maybe what we should call Braun Strowman from now on, because he's a clown show. Well, it's the clown show. Ha. I'm sorry. I hate it so much. Just as much as I hated this friggin' lumberjack match, man. We had the Roman battle over whose name was better once again, only this time they were surrounding the ring by 22, 24, 28, 3008. Who cares? Everybody who didn't get a chance to have a match tonight, and everybody who's got to sit in the back because of Tyson Fury and Cain Velasquez, you're going to be out in this lumberjack match. You've seen Ricochet out there, a couple of tag teams out there, the B team is out there, all of the all-stars. All for Roman and Rowan to just dance around the ring for a while and do nothing different than we've seen them do before. And we have Roman Reigns defeating Eric Rowan in this lumberjack match after Luke Harper comes out, causes the necessary chaos towards the end of the show, and we have the big brawl, and we have everybody clustered up in the corner so that Roman Reigns can ooh-ah himself over the top rope and take out everybody like a bunch of bowling pins in a gigantic coconut bowling ball. Nothing happened here. Daniel Bryan got involved. Daniel Bryan attacking Luke Harper, trying to keep him from getting involved. Daniel Bryan apparently is no longer the planet's champion, even though he's wearing a shirt of his villainous face. But he is apparently doing the whole yes chant thing again. I don't know where they're going with Daniel Bryan, if this is a temporary thing, unless this leads to him turning around to reveal himself to be the mastermind behind this thing all along. There is no reason for any of this to be happening. And it's more confusing than it is interesting. I didn't really care about any of this. And by Roman getting the win here, does the tag team match at Hell in a Cell even matter? This is a matter that is between Rowan and Roman, right? So now the matter is pretty much settled. Rowan got his ass beat by Roman Reigns. Even with the help of his buddy, he couldn't get the job done. What else is there to prove? Why are we having this match? This should just be the end of the story and we move on to the next phase. Like I said, hopefully the next phase is Daniel Bryan going back to his evil roots, revealing himself to be a member of this weird new Bludgeon Brothers thing the whole time, which would be freaking great. Brock Lesnar defeats Kofi Kingston in record time, which was just absolutely disrespectful, completely ridiculous way to book this matchup. Everybody expected Kofi Kingston to go down, but he should have at least been able to go down fighting. I don't give a shit how strong you think Brock Lesnar is. I already made the case, and it's a goddamn good argument. And I will stand behind it. You have guys like AJ and Daniel Bryan and Finn Balor all about the same size and stature of a Kofi Kingston. I don't think any of them had a main roster championship reign, with except maybe Daniel Bryan, as long or as meaningful as Kofi Kingston has had. And he's the one that gets bitched out? And don't be one of those assholes that calls this a racial thing. We don't go down that fucking road on this channel, so keep the pedal off the metal. Pump your fucking brakes on that right now. Kofi Kingston had a great championship reign. This was a messed up way to send him out. It has nothing to do with the color of his skin. It just has everything to do with the fact that Vince McMahon didn't want to have him as the champion in the first place, and probably tolerated it for as long as he could, and now he had the chance to put it back on his beast, and he just took it and ran with it and wanted to get to it as quick as possible. It's possible that the whole segment with The Rock at the beginning of the show ran overtime and took time away from the main event. But that's when you cut segments like the Tyson Fury thing in half. And you cut the whole end segment with the Cain Velasquez. You don't need that much time. You only needed about 30 seconds for that to be. Because after about 30 seconds, it wore off for everybody. Even if you cared, you were like, oh, wow, look at this. Okay, what are they going to do now? And we got nothing. And why are you looking forward to this? Unless you're a UFC fan and you love Cain Velasquez, or you're, for some reason, looking forward to a rematch between these two guys in a completely different medium that has absolutely nothing to do with the other matchups, that's going to be for a completely different championship, that's contested underneath a completely different set of rules. It has nothing to do with each other. Trying to force conflict. It's so forced, man. I can't get behind it. Absolutely not. After this quick match, Rey Mysterio's music hit. He walks out with Cain Velasquez. Honestly, when I seen him walking out, and I seen the silhouette next to him, I at first thought it was the giant baby man, Dominic. And I was like, what the hell did he feed this kid this week? He looks gigantic. Well, he is the giant baby man, and Rey Mysterio's tiny dad. I thought maybe it was just the perspective of the camera. But then as they got closer and closer, I'm like, wait a minute, is that like Tito Ortiz or somebody? Like, who the fuck is this guy? And they say Cain Velasquez. I know the name. I've never seen him fight. I don't care. And I don't want these UFC guys in my pro wrestling. I can understand now why UFC fans were always so, like, against WWE guys coming to fight in MMA. Bobby Lashley, Dave Batista, CM Punk, Jack Swagger. All these guys come and they get in the ring and they get their fucking ass kicked. Because it's not the same. And now it's vice versa. You got all these guys that are trained to fight for real coming in there going to end up fucking hurting people. This is not what I want. This is not what I want with pro wrestling. I don't give a shit if he's with Rey Mysterio. I don't care if he came back with Armando Alejandro Estrada. I don't care if he came back with any kind of Latin superstar to make it seem like it matters. I don't care if he came back with any superstar that wasn't Latin to make it seem like he matters. He could have came out with Drew McIntyre. He could have came out with somebody else. I don't care. And I don't think I'm ever going to care. Because there are people on that roster that deserve to be in the spot that they are handing to a UFC guy. An unproven UFC guy in a WWE ring. That's why I can't stand it, man. Ken Shamrock and Brock Lesnar are the only two exceptions. Aside from those two, you got the guys like Dan Severn. And you got all these other friggin' mooks coming in and out. Oh, former MMA Matt Riddle. Who cares? MMA and WWE, two different things. MMA had its time. 10 years ago or more was its heyday. The bubble bursted on that shit a long time ago. And I don't know why anybody really cares about it if you do. You got guys like Conor McGregor getting everybody all... None of these guys would last 30 seconds against the guys that were doing this UFC stuff when I was watching. The Randy Couture's of the world. Come on, man. Fucking ridiculous. Next week we have a lot to look forward to. This week was a wash as far as the main roster is concerned. I don't know, should we even still be saying the main roster? Because now they're considering NXT just a third brand of the main roster, so we can't really differentiate it by that way anymore, right? What should we say? Well, we'll call it the shit shows, because that's what they were, the main shit shows, the 1-2 punch of shit that WWE threw at us. But next week we got the draft. Are they going to truly shake things up? Are they truly going to stick with it? Are they going to change the SmackDown Live intro, so this Friday Night SmackDown intro, to only focus on members of the SmackDown roster? These are some of the interesting questions I will be hanging on the edge of my seat to see happen next week. What are they going to do with Cain Velasquez? I don't care, but I have no choice but to sit back and watch. It's bad enough we got the champion on a part-timer, former MMA guy. Please, let's not go down that road again. That is going to be your Friday night SmackDown review for the first time here on Sledgehammer TV. A little bit of history making this week here as well. The biggest week in professional wrestling history that ever was has finally come to its conclusion. Actually, it hasn't. It hasn't, because, they did such a good job at hyping the Hell in a Cell on the Go Home show that I almost forgot Sunday we got the freaking pay-per-view. And I don't even know. What do we got, 3 matches? We got Bray and Seth in the cell. We got the tag team match with Rowan and Daniel versus the Bludgeon Brothers. And we got Sasha versus Becky, right? And Bayley and Charlotte. Something like that. And that's it. 4 matches. I don't know. Did they announce anything else I'm missing? You guys let me know. I don't know. So there probably won't even be a preview show. There's no time. No time to do a pre-show. I'm going to do a fucking pre-show tomorrow for what? I don't even know what they have. I don't even think they know what they have. They're going to announce the whole entire card an hour before Hell in a Cell goes live this Sunday on the WWE Network. Thank you guys for being here with me on the Sledgehammer TV network. And you guys know what to do at this point. If you had a great time here today, if you enjoyed anything I had to say, if you liked any of the shows you watched all week long, smash that like button right now for me and hit that subscribe button. We are inching so close to that 2,000 subscriber mark. We are at almost 1950, man, and we need a bunch of new Sledgeheads to join the family here, and everybody is welcome. Don't forget to leave that comment down in the comment section below. You are always welcome to disagree with any of my assessments. Just keep it respectful, or you will find yourself on the outside looking in. That is the only thing I ask. Don't forget to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over the wrestling world, especially if they might have got a little bit overhyped about today's SmackDown and need to be taken down a notch. And remember that this is supposed to be about pro wrestling, not about the UFC. Thank you very much for being here with me all throughout this week. Don't forget to tune back in with us on Sunday. The best way to not miss a thing is to be subscribed and hit that notification bell as well. Don't forget to check out anything you might have missed. We did everything wrong with the Wednesday Night War, the head-to-head review of AEW versus NXT, which went up on the channel yesterday. We have the Monday Night Raw review, and everything else will be available to you for Hell in a Cell's review this Sunday night, and I hope to see each and every one of you guys there. Thank you as always for all of your support, and we are going to be launching the new Sledgehammer TV channel here on YouTube. If you guys like drawing and you guys like art, we are going to focus all of those videos. If you see my Jack Skellington sketch thing, it's going to be stuff like that, and I might put a few more here on Sledgehammer TV's main channel, which is this one you're watching right now, but we are going to have a little sister channel. It's called Sketchhammer, The Sketchhammer. You can go check it out, subscribe if you're going to be interested in seeing all of the art that I'm going to be bringing the hammer down on here on YouTube. Little time-lapse videos, go about 2, maybe 3 minutes on times, and it's going to be some of my favorite characters and things throughout all of television, film, and comics and stuff. So if you're interested in that, go head on over there. There's already one video up, and there will be more coming. I'm going to drop a few of them here, too, just to tease you guys. Maybe I'll make a little commercial so you know a little bit better what I'm talking about. So go check that out if you like and help out that channel over there. But mainly, stick with me here where you know you will get your professional wrestling news and reviews bullshit-free and full of a lot of wholesome fun. Wholesome, I don't think so. Fun and entertainment and truth. Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. That, my friends, is going to be the end. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. That, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you Sunday for the Hell in a Cell right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. Man, this week is exhausting. Boom.